Hey guys, meteorologist Lindsey Slater here. Let's talk a little bit about space weather. There's been a lot going on with the sun. I'm going to try to do these space weather forecasts maybe like once a week, unless something significant is going on. So I'm going to make that day Mondays because I feel like why not start off the week with a little space weather. Here's a look at the solar synoptic map, which does highlight definitely a bunch of sunspot regions. In fact, this region right here, this cluster, has really been pretty intense. 4236, 4232. These sunspot clusters have been pretty complex. It actually gave us the latest M-class flare recently, which caused an R2 radio blackout for some regions. So that was, I believe, yesterday. So this is a look at that. Small coronal holes, definitely Earth facing. So this could maybe give us some minor auroras in high latitudes, but otherwise it's not particularly large. And you can see here, there's another coronal hole kind of hanging out right here. Even some filaments going on down towards the southern spot on the disk there. So that's a look at the solar synoptic map. And you can see the R1. So this was an R1. I thought it was R2. There we go. R2 radio blackout from that very region I was just talking about. Believe it was 4293. So this one did bring some potential blackouts as a result of that. This happened on Sunday morning. So pretty interesting to see that on SWIPC's site. As far as anything happening right now, we did observe G1 level storming. We could see some more. I believe that would mainly be likely due to some of that high speed stream from the coronal hole regions I just talked about. Here's a look at, this is Solar Ham, so it's a website, Canada, that does kind of showcase where those holes are that I just brought up. These two right here, beautiful prominences. Holy cow, that's pretty wild. So those could actually launch, and they are in the direction of us. So maybe we see some prominent lift off in a CME, and then maybe we do get some auroras around here. But for now, you can see quite a bit of them here. There's one right there. There's one over here. So this one is the SDO wavelength. This is 193, a really good one to use for looking at coronal holes. Then we have 131, which is good for flaring regions, and you can see a lot of flaring in that one region I just talked about. Big ol' area that did leave us just recently right here, and then a couple of flaring regions right over here towards the southwest part of the disk there that you can see on the sun. This kind of showcases prominences, which is what I highlighted here, and then that like horseshoe looking one there. That's 304 angstroms, the latest there. And I wanted to showcase the different complexities. You can see it's a little bit more complex at 4232, 4236, and then 4226, 4230. These are some of the spots that we are definitely going to be watching. Their polarities suggest maybe they get a little bit more interesting. And anything else that I'm seeing here at this point, with the moon being at 46% illumination first quarter, it would be tough to see a lot out there. But again, we did have some beautiful liftoff CME, not Earth directed, but yeah, that happened from some of these regions over here, which is pretty wild. You can see it right there. This was the 27th that showcased that flare threat, which was pretty cool, honestly. Now we can look at maybe some sunspot regions. I want to pull up, okay, we got moon phase. Our BZ field is dynamically mainly south at this point, which would be good. But again, our density, it did get a little uptick there. It would maybe showcase some solar wind. And we also do have the speed is kind of low right now. I would expect a high speed stream to maybe pick up as a result of some of the coronal hole regions maybe getting a little bit more center disk. So that could be interesting for us. I do want to pop up some flares. Let's see here. Where's our flare? The last M flare. We did have, yeah, 929. So let's look at previous day, previous rotation. There we go. We had some dips here in X-ray flux. What else did we have? This is what I was looking for, sunspot numbers. I wanted to find the actual regions. I have to look at this a little bit more, but we did again have that C-class flare that did happen earlier this week. So I'm going to go to the calendar. This is when we had the auroras with that KP7. That was actually really cool. That one kind of snuck up on us because we didn't expect to see much. Let me go to the 28th. I believe sunspot regions. There we go. 4226. And then this is the one that I'm watching now, 4232. So if we go to those areas, 4226, not terribly complex, especially with the magnitude there. The more letters and numbers here, the more complex a sunspot is. These are not terribly complex, if I could talk today. This one's a little bit more complex, the 4230. 4231 is boring. I want to say boring. And then we have 4232. This is the one I was just talking about. A little bit more complexity. It's got a different magnitude there, and the number of sunspots has gone up. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Right now it's on the eastern limb, but we could likely see some flares. We got that M6.4 class flare earlier yesterday. So yeah, that's, I think, all I really wanted to show you guys. Just watching some flaring regions. I do want to show, hang on, DRAP, sun, let's see, deabsorption. Yeah, this is where we had the potential of some of those blackout regions, but over the past, I don't think there's anything really happening today. I wish I knew how to go backwards in scale, but you can see that it just kind of impacts areas on the eastern part of the Earth there, but you can see that region kind of popping up right there. That must have been our D-class flare right there, or our M-class flare right here, where it kind of peaked right here. So there could have been some radio blackouts happening there. But otherwise, that is it for me today. You guys have a good rest of your day. I will see you next week with more space weather.